Now here to talk about the future of Belgium as well as the European Union is Belgium's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Steven Vanackere. Steven Vanackere, thank you very much, Minister, for coming in and sharing your time with us. Before we talk about what's going on in Europe, I know that you've been spending time at the United Nations with Ban Ki-moon. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in terms of negotiations having to do with Libya. What's the situation?
Well, I think that everybody understands that time is not on the side of Qaddafi, and that more and more of the international organizations speaking out are clearly defining a future for Libya without Qaddafi. This being said, in the same time, we need to have a good look at how the evolution on the terrain is going, and in that respect, I think that the military situation is something which is asking a lot of sacrifices from those who are over there. Belgium is there with fighters, with fighter jets, and this is an effort that is sustainable, but it is not sustainable indefinitely. The whole idea, of course, is to execute the resolution 1973 and to make sure that the Libyan people can profit from the fruits of democracy, and that is something we are very determined in.
Now, in talking about NATO's mission in Libya, earlier today, in response to press questions, the President of France, Nicolas Sarkozy, described former U.S. Defense Secretary Robert Gates' comments about the NATO alliance. He described Robert Gates as bitter and the account as inaccurate when he talked about the imbalance in terms of what the different NATO countries were contributing. What are your responses to the President of France?
Well, it's fair to say that you need a real burden sharing in this respect, and that comments pointing out that some of the allies do not do exactly the same as some others, that's inevitable. I think in Afghanistan and in other places the same occurs, and I think it's more fruitful to establish that the only way that we're going to have a success is by staying united and not by criticizing each other. And in that respect, I can understand that it's not a very smart idea to start counting what the one and the other is doing. The most important thing is to give a clear message that the world is going to stay united for the execution, the implementation of 1973.
Minister, talk a little bit, if you can, about what's going on in Europe vis-a-vis Greece. Is there really going to be some kind of unilateral support for what is happening in Greece? Because there was a new poll today that said that 90% of the Greek people don't really trust their own government to get them out of this mess.
I think they're mad at their politicians for what has happened, but in the same vein, I really think that they understand that to solve the situation, there will be a need for real sacrifice, and it will be about making sure that in a few days' time, the plan that Papandreou, the Prime Minister, is going to propose on privatization and on diminishing the expenditures, that this is to be approved in Parliament. If that happens, I'm convinced that the European Union will support Greece and make sure that the whole idea of having a common currency continues to be also a common destiny and a common approach towards getting more convergence in the economic policies.
Do you have any idea of what the size of the package would be? Any number that you've heard that is specific?
I think it's quite known that the first package, which was a little bit more than 100 billion euros, is going to be repeated approximately. It will be about the same size as this first package.
Tell us a little bit about the government of Belgium, because as I said, it seems as though we keep reporting that the government is still waiting for some kind of confirmation. Give us the status.
I'm so glad that you say that there is a government, because too many people say, Belgium, that's a country without a government, isn't it? No, that's not true. There is a government. It's a caretaker government. It's the same government that existed before the elections. The elections of June of last year, well, the parties that constitute the coalition government, some of them got a beating, but the coalition did not lose majority in parliament. And the logic of elections, of course, is that those who got a beating, they step aside, and those who won the elections, that they take charge. But then again, when negotiations don't follow through, you can lead lead the horses to the water, but you cannot force them to drink. And as long as the parties do not come to an agreement about a new coalition government, the actual government continues to take responsibility. And I'm quite convinced that we do it quite good.
I want to thank you very much, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Belgium, Steven Vanackere.